Hi, my name's Isaac Shutt. I'm an estate planning and probate attorney. I'm licensed to practice law both in Texas and in Wyoming. And in this video, I will talk about something that I actually don't like very much, and that is safe deposit boxes. Now, in principle and in concept, safe deposit boxes are awesome. You pay a small fee, you get your little box at the bank that, has some fire and water protection, and staffers are in charge of it to make sure that, behind the vault, nobody can steal stuff. Yeah, all of that's great. But I'll tell you the reason I hate them is because I have to deal with them after people pass away. And that's when they really start to stink. I don't like dealing with safe deposit boxes after somebody's passed away. It is no fun. I'll give you an example because sometimes examples really tell the whole story. So I'm currently dealing with an estate right now where the deceased person had a safe deposit box with Chase Bank. Now, this is not a slight to Chase Bank. If anything, I need to apologize to the scene I caused at Chase Bank because I was so frustrated in their lobby. So, my client's relative passed away, and somebody thought, you know what, this person who passed away may have had a valid last will and testament inside his safe deposit box. Okay, but the paperwork with the bank for the safe deposit box had not been filled out correctly. So, my client goes to the bank and says, hey bank, can I get into the safe deposit box to see if there's a will inside? And of course, their answer is, yeah. If the will had been through probate and you were listed as the executor, then we could give you access to the box. And of course, how can we probate the will if the will is inside the box? It's the old chicken before the egg. So of course, my client couldn't give them the will that was probably inside the box. So then he had to pay our law office to go to the judge and file a petition with the probate judge to say, hey judge, will you sign an order that orders Chase Bank to let the client into the box for the purpose of looking for a will? And of course, the judge said, yes, there's a protocol for that. And the judge signed off on the order. So I myself made an appointment to go to the Chase Bank in Highland Park and say, hey, Chase Bank, now you've got a court order, let me into the box. And they said, we will absolutely get back to you. I said, what do you mean get back to me? And they said, well, here at our branch, we don't have a lot of authority to deal with legal documents. We need to send this to our legal department. We'll call you back in 2 to 3 weeks, which of course they never did. I had to call and call and call. And finally I got a response and they said, well, our legal department didn't really like your order. Can you get a new order that says something a little bit different? Oh, I got a new order that said something a little bit different. Went back to the bank and they said, great, we'll get back to you in 2 to 3 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks later, I go back and they said, great, legal department has said we will accept that order, but you need an appointment to get into a safe deposit box. Okay, well, when can I get an appointment? 2 to 3 weeks. Oh my gosh. And that's when I made a scene. And I'm sorry, Chase Bank branch in Highland Park, Texas. I'm sorry I made a scene in your branch. I had a short fuse. I was very frustrated that I had been there multiple times with court orders and you were still not letting me into that safe deposit box. I was a little peeved, I'll be honest. But anyway, I made the appointment, came back 2 to 3 weeks later, and I had allotted an hour of time to go through the box. And the bank employee said, you know what? It's our policy that whenever a person goes through a safe deposit box, even if it's just to look for a will, we have to inventory every item that's in the box. And so we had to go through this deceased person's safe deposit box that literally had a bunch of shirt buttons and valueless coins and things like that. It was such a colossal waste of time to go through all this. And guess what? The will wasn't even in there. So, as you can tell, and as that example shows, I really don't like dealing with safe deposit boxes of deceased people. So, one of the questions that we get all the time is, okay, Isaac, if safe deposit boxes are really difficult to deal with if I pass away, where do you suggest I keep my important papers? Well, if you want to have a safe deposit box to keep like your gold or important papers other than your will, then maybe you could make a case for that. But in terms of your will itself, I wouldn't keep your will or your power of attorney or your medical power of attorney or that kind of stuff in a safe deposit box because they're so hard to get into, especially in a hurry. Instead, we actually recommend that our estate planning clients keep their important estate planning documents at home in a strong box or a document keeper, sometimes they're called. You can get them for not much money at Walmart or Home Depot or Lowe's. Maybe 50 bucks will get you a metal box that has some fire and water protection. Sure, it's not designed to keep bad guys out, but bad guys don't want your will anyway. So just so long as it has a little bit of fire and water protection, you're good to go. So just get a strong box, keep it in your home, and tell the people that you've listed on your power of attorney and your will, and if you have a trust, your trustee, tell those important people, if something happens to me, I've got this metal box, here's where I keep it, and it has all of my important documents in there. And then that way, if you pass away or there's a medical emergency, we don't have to deal with the stupid legal department at Chase Bank. Instead, the documents are right there. We can enact them right away. We can deal with them right away. So I know I've ranted a little bit about safe deposit boxes. If you're going to keep things other than your estate planning documents, maybe a safe deposit box isn't so bad. But in terms of keeping your estate planning documents, I'd recommend not using a safe deposit box. I hope you find this video helpful. My name is Isaac Shutt. I'm an estate planning and probate attorney. I'm licensed to practice law both in Texas and in Wyoming. If we can be of further assistance to you, we'd love to hear from you. Our contact information is down below.